My 2 years playing at Colorado, it's been a pleasure to play there. I could affect the game everywhere, anyway you put me on the field.
If he measures at 5'11", that boy, bring that boy some money. Is an undoubted NFL draft steal, and I think a lot of people understand that. I think a lot of people have understood that since his FAU days. I think deeper now after he's completed the season, where sadly he had some injuries. This offseason has been nothing but positive from him. He's been routing people up, dotting people up, showing him, despite his lack of speed that he showed at the 40, which this April 4th he's going to be running the 40 again at his pro day, so he can kind of make up for that. Besides that, I think he's been impressing everybody else. So let's hop right into it. What we're going to do is kind of review some of the things that he's done this offseason before his Colorado Pro Day. We're going to watch him, operate and route some people up, as well as we have a few interviews with him and some people kind of talking about what he could be and what he can be. We're going to start with the man himself, Jimmy Horn, first, and then kind of take the steps there. So let's hear him at the Big 12 Pro Day, kind of expressing his experience in through the world of college football.
My 2 years playing at Colorado, it's been a pleasure to play there. I was really supposed to be with them back in high school, but God, everything happened for a reason. I could affect the game everywhere, anyway you put me on the field. Like you said, the last one, my mindset. That's what it is. I got a soldier mentality. Both of my parents, like they both got a story that nobody don't know nothing about, and like for them to have me and like raise me the way I am now, I feel like both of them be proud just because of the way I was raised and how they was raised and the man they molded me into. When I talk to NFL teams, I just be myself. I don't go in there being somebody that I'm not. Like I want them to know, like if I come there, this gonna be me, and like I don't put on no front of somebody else I'm not. Like I'm Jimmy Horn Jr. and like that's just me.
Sorry. I looked at my stocks. All right, and then let's go to Jimmy Horn at the combine as well. Speaking again, similarly to some of the things about what he brings to the table. I love the confidence that Jimmy Horn has. But we're going to talk about this after this interview as well.
365 days in the year, don't trip by one. That's something I live by, and I'm pretty sure Shador think like that too. It's real important, it's a lot of ups and downs that come with the game. People love you, people hate you. And it's just how you feel about yourself, Can't nobody tell you about yourself more than you know yourself. Shador was a great teammate in the huddle, If you ain't know something, he'll help you out. If you need help with something off field, he'll help you out. And like watching film and stuff like that, he could break film down with you and everything. Me and Coach Prime got a great relationship. It's like a father and son relationship, And over these years, I met Coach Prime in high school. That's really my big decision to go to Colorado. They was recruiting me back in high school, and I kind of had a connection with him back then because I was about to go to Jackson State, but I went to USF. And just Coach Prime, he always been the man of his word to me, and I love the man to death. It's real special. Overly blessed. Shout out to Jalen Wester, man. Yeah.
Love to hear that, man. Love to hear that. So just speaking a little bit on Jimmy Horn, again, as the person who has been interacting with the world of Deion Sanders, right? I obviously, the long list and the long story that is Jimmy Horn's background, that is his parents' story, whether it's his father in prison and his mother's story as well. Obviously, that's another story for another day. But just that aside, right, the fact that there is those things that he's been able to kind of go through, the adversity that he's been able to kind of get through. And then on top of that, this season, which by all means would be a disappointment just because obviously the injuries, right? He didn't get to play as many games. And when he was playing, that boy was electric. And I think that is undeniable in every shape, form, or fashion, right? So to see him still have this confidence, even though, hey, maybe he didn't get to show everything. Hey, maybe he didn't do that. But the humbleness to acknowledge what Deion Sanders has allowed, but to also know that what's been created is an elite talent. And somebody, like he said, hey, I can do whatever you want for a team. And that is important, right? When we talk about being brash and arrogant and X, Y, Z, I want to focus on the fact that these young men are very not full of themselves, but they're very confident in themselves. They understand the capabilities, right? They understand what they're allowed to do. And of course, when we watch the film, you're going to see, hey, Who am I to tell Jimmy Horn he can't do anything he wants for a team, everything he can do for a team, just because he's a slot guy, right? So let's go deeper into it. Let's hear what some of the, you know what I'm saying, some of the yappers have to say about Jimmy Horn being an underrated guy. Oh, wait, where the TikTok at? I downloaded the TikTok. Where did I put the TikTok? Here it is. We'll start with the TikTok, and then we'll go from there. Let's get into it.
Jimmy Horn Jr. has to be one of the more exciting and underrated wide receivers in this year's draft. There truly is a lot to love about his game. Now, he may not be the biggest wide receiver, but he can damn sure move on the football field. He can take a short pass like this and take it for 6, wave goodbye, 20 yards out. Love to see it. But with him being undersized, he has to know how to win, and Jimmy Horn Jr. can do that. Now, he may not get the ball thrown his way on this play, but he puts a nice move on the DB, gets open on the slant route, and if he does get the ball thrown his way, there's a lot of green grass. This defender is locked in on LaJohntay Wester. The last line of defense is this safety right here, and I am trusting Jimmy Horn Jr. to win that battle if he does get the ball thrown his way. The biggest thing you'll notice about Jimmy Horn Jr. is he's an explosive playmaker. He can take these short scenarios and turn them into big gains. It is a mixture of speed, elusiveness, and twitch, and it all comes together to form a player that is dangerous with the ball in his hands. He can do stuff like this. I've already shown you. This man is fun to watch. He's also a very smooth and controlled mover. I think this is a great example. He's at the top of this Mills concept, and he's going to get this ball in stride, not going to change his speed, and he's going to put on a move, and he's going to take it for 6. We saw it in his gauntlet as well.
Now, this is we do have the gauntlet, but I don't want to get copyrighted because this is more NFL stuff. But we do have his gauntlet over here, so we are going to take a peek at it whenever. I thought it was over here. Where's it at? Or it might be in here, but oh no, it's right here, or at least it's 3 cones. So we'll take a peek at that. That's not copyrighted, so don't worry. But let's hear more of some opinions around the world about what people are thinking about Jimmy Horn.
The most underrated prospect on my board is Jimmy Horn.
Oh, what happened? I don't know why it stopped. Let me get back here. Sorry, and again, I can't show. Oh no, that was it. That's the full thing. Next.
One other guy, I would throw him out as a bit of a sleeper as well. I really liked Jimmy Horn Jr. from Colorado, one of those other Colorado wide receivers. They obviously had Travis Hunter as wide receiver 1 in addition to cornerback 1. Jimmy Horn's good. Like that guy, he's pretty small. Like he's slight. Like that. There's not the kind of room to pack on. Like he's slight and small in addition to just some of these other guys are short, but they're pretty stocky. He's slight and small, but he's good. He's got good route running, understands zones. Like it's tough. Like he'll take shots over the middle. I think his relative lack of production is because Colorado shared it around. Like they actually did a pretty good job of distributing the ball around, which is probably a reflection on Shedeur Sanders that probably isn't getting enough recognition. I think Jimmy Horn is going to become a pretty useful player at the next level.
There we go. Sorry about that. I had a little spike. So I'm streaming at the same time, and my Adobe Creative Cloud keeps messing me up, man. I'm telling y'all, if y'all using that, get him up out of there, dog. He gonna mess with your stuff, dog. He gonna try to, you know what I'm saying? He gonna try to mess up your whole little situation. But yeah, man. The consistency is there, right? And we even talked about in that other what's it called video when we spoke briefly about Jimmy Horn, and it's that even people like Brett Collerman are starting to. Not starting to, because that would allude that they haven't before, or that they didn't have the knowledge of Jimmy Horn. But I think it's clear to see that he's a valuable prospect, right? And what that means and what that says to Deion Sanders recruiting, right? And what it means and what it says to future Colorado recruits. I keep telling y'all that like a lot of things are tools for recruiting, right? In the same way that I told y'all that Deion Sanders' contract getting extended, that's going to help recruits as well. That's going to allow recruits to look at that in a very specific, very certain way. We got Coach Prime locked in, you know what I'm saying, for X amount more days. Well, the confidence rises, right? The ability to stay with the team, that level rises, right? And I think it's extremely important to keep that into perspective, to understand that in this modern world of recruiting and NIL, transfer portal, all the craziness, if you don't, NCAA 25, I know, that's how I started this channel. I'm sorry, it's the best way to recruit. But if your dude coming in and your recruit says, I want to make it to the NFL, well, guess what? I can check that off from Colorado. I'm potentially about to have 2 top 5 picks. Now, we don't know about Shador. Shador might fall out. I'm going to have at least 1 top 5 pick in Travis Hunter, a Heisman Trophy winner. And I'm going to send Shador to the NFL. Like, I know everybody wants to talk about how good Shador is. Guys, I'm telling y'all, he's not going to be there after day 2. Like, let's understand. He's a starting quarterback. He might not be elite. He might not be Andrew Luck. He might not be the greatest athlete of all time, but he can start for an NFL team. Let's just stop with that. All right. Let's not act like y'all know what it is. You're gonna send them, and then you're gonna send Jimmy Horn. You're gonna send LeJonte Wester to the NFL team, and then Will Shepard's probably gonna sneak in there too. Okay. So now you have a coach. Now you have a coach who is locked in monetarily, contract-wise. Ain't nobody was worried about if Deion didn't have no money, but it's more so the commitment that Colorado wants to make to him and say, hey, yo, this is your team, right? The NIL commitments, all that stuff. And then on top of that, hey, I'm sending an underrated guy, a late day 3 guy, a guy that is undersized by a lot of people's regards, right? And here's his composite score there. Coming in at 5'11"? He ain't no 5'11", dog. He came in at 5'11", dog. If he measured in at 5'11", I thought he was 5'9". If he measures at 5'11", that boy, bring that boy some money. Bring that boy some money. So let's watch Jimmy Horn operate. And like I said, a lot of people reported of it. And I want to read this little thing here. Jimmy Horn has been going off of the East-West Shrine Bowl. We're going to watch some Shrine Bowl. We're going to watch a little bit of him and his, private workouts too. And I think the biggest thing that needs to be echoed is the smoothness, the contact balance, right? And I think LeJonte Wester and Jimmy Horn kind of have 2 different ways of arriving to solving the same problem, right? I think they threaten in those short yardage situation and those tight footwork situations in similar ways, but I think they do it in slightly similar ways because the frames are a little different. The way that they manipulate their bodies a little different. The way they attack the ball, I think, is a little bit different. But at the end, they're both going to be very underrated receivers that you can put in the slot. And hey, throw them out at X. Yo, hey, let Jimmy Horn run that fade. Let him try to take the top off. Let LeJonte and his, I think, elite ability to adjust to the football. Him and Jimmy Horn, I think, have really elite. I mean, y'all saw the Hail Mary, right? Let these guys throw the ball up to them, but also, hey man, the bread and butter is going to be tearing y'all up on the inside, tearing y'all these linebackers up, tearing up these these stars that they're going to try to line up there that just don't have the ability to cover these guys one-on-one. Especially, I think they're going to be the biggest answer in the red zone. Something that a lot of these newfangled offensive coordinators, while they continue to push their great offenses, we're starting to see, I think, these young offensive coordinators come with an issue with scoring in the red zone, unless Andy Reid does it. And Andy Reid pulls out corn dog. Now everybody, oh, well, now we know what. Just do return route. So, let's see if the young dudes can use someone like Jimmy Horn to just hit a cool, nasty whip route, hit a cool, nasty return route to really get open on the goal line. But we'll see. Horn has reportedly been the best wide receiver so far in these practices, as impressed several coaches. Some NFL scouts reportedly believe Horn will come off the board a lot faster than they originally anticipated, with some scouts even reportedly saying that they believe Horn has the potential to be this draft version of Tank Dell. I'm a Texans guy, so I'll love me some Tank Deleonte. And if I compared him to Tank Dell, I would say Jimmy Horn's a little more, he's a little more stout than, he might not have the production that Tank Dell has, because, Tank Dell had crazy production coming out of Houston. But in the same way, in the same venture, you can see just that he still has some of those traits, that explosiveness, the ability to not only just perform the slot, but hey, Tank Dell did some of his best damage down the field with CJ in that rookie year. So let's get a little deeper here. Let's watch some film, and then we're gonna listen a little bit to a little bit more of Jimmy Horn there. Here he is at the 3-cone drill. Is this? Yeah. So this is 3-cone at the Big 12. I think everyone is ass. Get up out of there. Get up out of there. You feel me? And again, the contact balance and the long arms, like these guys might not be the tallest receivers, but the fact that they still have these allures of elite ability, right? I think it's gonna allow them to do a lot more. Woof. Snap down is smooth, it's quick, in the lab, working on the small things. And this is what I mean by in a phone booth, right? The footwork by Jimmy Horn and LeJounte too. Don't forget, we're gonna have a video on him too. But the footwork, we're speaking to Jimmy right now, is very smooth and it's very slight. And when you add that to his contact balance, which I think is the most underrated part of his game, right? His ability to stay up, his ability to use his weight in positive ways. And I also think this is another
Jimmy
one
Horn
of his.
Jr.
Another one of his, I think this is that jump ball. Another one of his underrated abilities is going up and getting that ball too, because he can go up and get that ball, and not just get that ball, but get it contested. That was a contested, nasty catch heading towards the pylon. And this is exactly how I feel like, if you're an offensive coordinator who's worth their salt, you know what I mean? You should be salivating at somebody like Jimmy, salivating at somebody like LeJounte, because that near pylon, I mean, who's gonna cover him? Who's going to cover him if you work that near pylon like that? I don't know who. I wouldn't want to deal with it. Right? And then you see him operate, right? I mean, the way that he generates power. Whoa, this was a little, this was a little, a little bit in the face. But I think the way that he generates power is absolutely amazing. The way he gets out of those breaks. Oh, here it is. I told y'all we had it. Here he is in his gauntlet, and again, smooth. Right, even when he falls, I'm sorry, this is gonna sound like Glaze. Even when he falls, I mean, you can see that. You can see how clean and crisp he's standing to that line. He's in, he's out. Even with a drop, he ain't down. And that boy get to sprinting. That boy get to track running too. And sometimes people who run in that track style have issues. But hey, I don't think Jimmy gonna have too many issues here. Let him come to you. Let's see, watch him operate here again and again. Like I said, dog, it's red zone demon. Red zone demon if used correctly, if utilized to the best of his ability, man. So I think it's great. I think he's clearly the most underrated, the most slept on. But he ain't gonna be slept on for long. Comment down below where y'all think Jimmy Horn's gonna be drafted. Is he gonna be? He's not gonna be a first rounder. We know that. Is he gonna be a day 3 guy? Is he gonna be a late day 3 guy? Is he gonna slide in undrafted free agent? Is he going to be drafted before LeJounte? I don't know. Y'all let me know down below in comments. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. We didn't get to do the extra interviews, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe if y'all want to see that, let me know. We can hop on that on another video too. Leave a like on the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you enjoy college football content, draft content, foosball content, everything else in between. Comment down below if there's content you want me to see or you want to see from me. You be great. You be amazing. You be elite. We'll see you next time.